A very long time ago, in a Chinese fishing village, there was a little girl playing by a lake while her father got ready for work. When the girl felt sad about her dad going, he joined her in the water, making her happy again. However, something strange happened when he started convulsing in the lake and was pulled underwater by an invisible force. The girl continued to laugh, unaware of the danger her father was in, until he disappeared, leaving only blood in the water. The locals were quick to hire a demon hunter, who shouted and threw bombs into the lake, causing a big explosion that amazed everyone. They managed to catch a huge stingray, and the hunter claimed it was taken by a demon responsible for killing the girl's father. The locals were grateful for catching the monster. Crowd insisted it was just a regular stingray. It turned out that the man's name was Tang, and he was also a demon hunter and a student to a monk the other demon hunter charged Tang of being involved with. The demon leading the people to attack him and tie him up as punishment. People thought it was safe and began jumping into the water to celebrate, but their joy was cut short when a giant beast swallowed a woman, leaving everyone in disbelief. The people quickly returned to the shore thinking they'd be safe out of the water, but to their surprise, the monster used its tongue to grab the villagers. The little girl we mentioned earlier tried to run to her mother, but the creature seized her, trying to pull her into the water. The people rushed to help the girl and cut off the monster's tongue, catching her at the edge of a bridge. However, the creature leapt up and snatched the girl into its mouth. The mother, filled with anger and desperation, leapt into the lake to save her daughter, while Tang tried to free himself from the ropes by using his teeth. The mother was scared when she saw the giant monster rising from the water. Shaking with rage, as it looked at her, she begged for her child's return. But the demon only reacted by eating her too. The monster caused nearby buildings to collapse, making everyone lose their balance, including a baby sliding toward the lake, away from its mother. Luckily, Tang managed to break free and jump down to the platform, catching the baby just in time as the giant thing lunged at him. Tang escaped and trapped the monster on the platform, using its weight to LAAP toward the people. He returned the child to its mother, but spotted the fake demon hunter hiding like a coward. Suddenly, a huge woman emerged from the crowd, causing shocks with each step, and leaped toward the monster. She landed on the platform, sending the thing flying into the air and falling on top of the false demon hunter. Before he could escape, the creature slowly changed into a young man who seemed harmless. The villagers tried to kill him, but Tang intervened and offered a better option. The man took out different musical tools and a book called 300 Nursery Songs to change the monster from evil to good. With his song talents, Tang's singing was so bad that it confused both the demon and the audience. The man's songs and behavior were so bad that they drove the thing into madness, and it started violently hitting the man and everything around. Before Meringue was killed, a woman grabbed the demon and began beating on it, finally sealing the monster into a special cloth, turning it into a doll. This woman dealing with monsters. She laughed hysterically, and the people thanked her as their true savior. Tang was disappointed by the loss, but his master told him that changing evil into goodness is never easy. He told the monk that there was another demon to conquer, one living in a nearby restaurant that used real flesh for cooking at night. Tang arrived at the demon's restaurant and joined the building, only to discover it was full of people enjoying their food. He was welcomed by a woman who showed him around, but Tang saw through the illusions and asked her to share her true form. The monster rushes towards Tang, who is running away in fear, but Duan arrives and punches the devil repeatedly until she turns into dust. She starts attacking the spirits in the restaurant, breaking them apart one by one. Using her rings, she calls for the boss to come out, and a young man tries to sneak up behind her, but Danon quickly counters him, and they engage in a heated fight. The woman gets the upper hand and punches the man across the room. She calls multiple rings and starts firing them at the monster, specifically targeting his face, which finally breaks his skin, showing a pig-like snout. The demon starts blocking her blows using a rake and gets closer to her. He swings at Duan angrily, making her defend herself, but he manages to strike her flesh as she flees just before the lands. Danon jumps behind the demon and kicks him, forcing him to reveal his true form, which turns out to be a demon pig. She locks the creature's arms to immobilize him and calls for Tang to come and help. Duan has trapped the demon's essence inside his throat and needs Tang to take it from. The pig Tang struggles to summon the courage to finish the task, finding it tough after looking at the monster's ugly face. Fortunately, he accidentally falls into this madness and kisses the pig, sucking the demon inside his mouth. Danon quickly takes the soul from Tang and seals it in her bag. But the monster proves too powerful to be controlled and starts growing larger, finally breaking free and showing its monstrous form. The two run as the entire building collapses, managing to escape the monster and reach a lake. Duan falls from her injuries and shows her bruises to Tang, who helps stop the flow despite his own injuries. When Duan closes her eyes and leans in for a kiss, Tang sees that he's a monk and runs away, probably not wanting to be involved in a love relationship. The next day, Tang returns to his master. Admitting his mistake, once again, the master tells him that to conquer the pig monster, he must seek help from the king of all monsters known as Wukong, who has been imprisoned for 500 years by the gods for causing trouble in the heavens while flying through the trees. At night, Tang falls into a trap set by a group of seemingly unfriendly people. However, it turns out that they all work for Duan, and she plans to force the monk into marriage. Tang refuses, stating the monk's code that he must love everyone in the world. Equally in a fit of rage, Duan locks him up while considering her next steps. Her sister tries to convince her to be more feminine and use her dance to attract the man. Still, after watching her poor dancing skills, she puts a charm on Duan to control her moves while trying to seduce the monk. Duan approaches her crush, but things go wrong as the charm malfunctions, leading her to repeatedly strike the main character, until the charm accidentally flies onto the man. Danan leaves the room feeling bad. At the same time, her sister starts dancing, causing Tang to copy her moves in front of the guards, who rush in. The men see Tang's funny dance and beat him up again, only stopping when Duan enters after learning something's wrong. Their fun comes to an end when they spot the pig demon's arrival. They rush into a car and desperately try to escape. However, the pig catches up and charges at them. Danan pushes Tang off the car just before the monster crashes into the group, causing destruction. Luckily, no one gets hurt in the crash, but they are soon cornered by the demon seeking revenge against their guild leader for their past battle. Suddenly, a man with a strong aura resembling a tiger charges at the monster, overpowering it and forcing the devil to flee. It turns out the man is also a demon hunter and is joined by a powerful combat artist known as the Mighty Foot, along with Prince Important and his 4 beautiful nannies, who he orders to throw flower petals all the time. However, the prince's staff constantly embarrass him by calling him Prince Important. The 3 fight about who gets to take down the pig demon, which angers Tang. He accuses them of being driven by money and vanity rather than being true demon hunters. Tang tells Duan to return the nursery rhymes she took and berates her for waste his time. This makes Duan furious, and she tears the book into pieces and throws it in the air. She hits Tang in anger, saying he's nothing without her and that he would have died long ago. Tang stands up in silence and sees Danan trying to make the prince jealous by flirting with him. He walks away as the girl looks at him sadly. After a long journey through the lands, Tang comes on a mountain covered in lily pads. Despite the lack of water, he finds a large lily flower growing through a hole and jumps in, finding a strange-looking man who hugs and kisses him repeatedly. Tang realizes this man is Wukong and tries to ask him for help defeating the pig monster. However, Wukong is only interested in leaving the place and tries to trick the monk into removing a seal, saying it can capture the monster. Tang doesn't fall for the tricks, leading Wukong to try to escape in anger, but the cave's roots trap the monster inside and punish him for disobedience. Tang offers Wukong a banana, softening the demon's attitude, and he begins telling how to defeat the pig monster. Since the devil loved his wife deeply, they need a beautiful woman to dance under the moonlight, which will lure the monster into the cave, allowing Wukong to trap it. Duan jumps into the cave upon hearing their plan and offers to be the bait for the pig demon. Tang tells her to leave, but Wukong starts flirting with her as he teaches her to dance. It becomes clear that Tang truly loves Danan, and he feels uncomfortable watching their affectionate contact at night. Dan is under the moonlight while Tang plays the music for her. He falls deeper in love with her every move. They hear a monstrous roar, and the pig demon comes. Wukong talks to the thing from inside the cave, causing the monster to look under the lies and be fully sucked in by the god's sky. Duan turns the pig monster into a doll and gives both monsters to Tang, allowing him to use his nursery songs to convert them from evil to good. She puts a ring on Tang and wants to marry him, but Tang becomes highly upset and would rather cut off his own finger than be in a relationship with her. Danan takes off the ring herself, trying to return the nursery rhyme book she put back together, but Tang refuses it in anger. She sees his determination and leaves in tears, promising not to follow him in the future. Tang walks out of the cave and looks at the moon with a sad heart, battling with the pain of his true feelings. he hears Wukong asking for a favor to remove the lily flower blocking the door as he wants to enjoy the moonlight as well. The monk cut the flower, but something went wrong as all the lies burst into flames. Wukong laughed crazily inside the cave before breaking free in a ball of fire. Landing in front of the monk, he tossed the man around like a rag doll and mocked him for being easily tricked into releasing the demon king. Tang told the monkey monster that he hadn't escaped as the Buddha was watching everything even at that moment. In a fit of rage, Wukong started ripping off the monk's hair violently, leaving nothing, but was angry that the man's will was still strong. Suddenly, the three monster hunters arrived, the Fist of the North Star, prepared to attack the Demon King, but Wukong quickly killed the man by biting his throat. The huge foot changed and kicked the monkey demon with great force, knocking him backward. The old man jumped in the air and tried to stomp on Wukong, but the Monkey King sliced through the feet and kicked the old man into the air, sending him on top of the prince. The prince told the nannies to throw away the old man and threw numerous swords at the demon, forcing Wukong to run into the air as the weapons followed and hit him wherever he went. The devil took out his weapon and knocked the knives away, but the prince combined all the guns into one and sent it flying toward the monkey. That attack was so strong that it began breaking apart the demon's staff, but it eventually shattered when it hit the monkey. Wukong roared furiously, creating a shockwave that turned the demon hunters into dust. He turned his attention to the monk, but surprisingly, Duan defended the man even after what he had said to her. She attacked Wukong with her rings, but the weapons broke after hitting the Demon King. She charged toward the monkey, but Wukong easily stopped her by hitting her head and sending her flying backward. Tang crawled toward the woman. Duan whispered to him, asking if he ever loved her. The monk began crying and admitted that he had loved her since the first time they met. Hearing his statement, Duan died with tears in her eyes as Tang held her, kissed her, and put her ring on his finger. Before Tang could finish crying, Wang took the girl's body and blasted it into a million pieces. Suddenly, the demon felt something wrong and fled immediately. Seeing that Tang had finally let go of all earthly attachments, the monk started reading them. Book Duan put together and read the words, forming a massive Buddha that oversaw the entire planet. The giant statue pushed its palm toward the planet, making a massive shockwave that entered the atmosphere and lit its hand on fire. Wang saw this and refused to give up, gathering all his energy onto his body and changing into King Kong, towering over everything and screaming furiously. The giant palm approached closer and closer toward the demon, and Wukong tried to lift the Buddha at the last moment, able to stop the attack as he strained under the immense weight. However, the monster couldn't match the god's power and got crushed under the huge hand. Wukong was brought into a different dimension where Tang had finally beat the demon. He took off Duan's ring and bound it to the monkey's head, making the demon his new pupil. The monk's master told him that he was now ready for the journey to the west, where he would receive the holy scriptures from India, followed by the monsters who were now his students to alleviate the pain of humanity.